Welcome back, Sens fans, to a brand new video. Today's topic of discussion will be the expansion draft. We've had a pretty short / long postseason, if you can even believe. I can't believe Tampa Bay won back-to-back Stanley Cups in less than 9 months. It's pretty ridiculous. But now all the rave is over about the Stanley Cup champions. Now it's about the Seattle Kraken. They're coming into the league next year. They're going to need some players, so we're going to have the expansion draft. The list for the expansion draft were due yesterday, and they were only revealed to the public today, and we have till Wednesday. Now, Ron Francis, general manager of the Seattle Kraken, he has till Wednesday to finalize who he's going to pick from each team out of the players left exposed. Now, essentially, the way it works with the expansion draft, you can select to protect either 6 forwards, 3 defensemen, 1 goaltender, or 8 skaters and 1 goaltender. 8 skaters gives you a lot of flexibility, so you can protect a variety of each type of position rather than just a limited few. You just get to protect less players overall. So the Ottawa Senators did your standard 6 forwards, 3 defensemen, and 1 goaltender. There are also players on the Senators who are ineligible to be drafted, including first-year, second-year contracts. So guys like Josh Norris, they're exempt. Tim Stützle is exempt. A lot of our up-and-coming young studs are exempt from the expansion draft. So, without further ado, let's get into Ottawa's list, who is protected, and then I'll talk about who I think, if I was Ron Francis, who I would select from our team. So, first on the Sens protected list is winger number 19, Drake Batherson. Drake Batherson emerged as a huge player for us in our team last year. He had almost 20 goals. He was a bit slow to start the season, but he quickly developed chemistry on that Chuck Norris line, which we'll be talking about them later. But he's a pure goal scorer, has a wicked shot, and he's a real team player, and he's loved by all the fans here. And I really hope that his grandparents are watching because they watched his goal compilation. So hello, if you're watching, that was really cool. Well, Drake Batherson, not a surprise. Really glad to see him protected there. Next forward protected, number 28, Connor Brown. Again, not a surprise. Connor Brown was brought in from Toronto. He was part of the sweeteners since Zaitsev's contract was seen as bad. Doesn't look so bad for Sens fans right now. Zaitsev has been pretty solid. We'll even talk about him later here. Connor Brown led the team in goals last year. He scored 21 goals, which is a new career high for him. He also owns the Senators streak for consecutive goals scored in consecutive games. He not only took it, alright, Drake Batherson had it, originally tied by Jason Spezza, so he tied it, and not only did Connor Brown tie Jason Spezza and Drake Batherson, but he also beat it. So Connor Brown, good for him. Not a surprise that he was protected. I would have been really mad if he was protected because 20 goal scorers don't grow on trees. The next pick, Logan Brown. This is the one that surprised some people. So to me, what this pick means is they're betting on Logan Brown. He's probably going to play next year, and he's going to try and break out and have a prominent role on the team. He practiced. The thing with Logan Brown is usually injured a lot, which has really affected his ability to develop, stay healthy, and be not only just in an NHL lineup, but in an AHL lineup. He's always been close to a point a game whenever he's played in previous seasons. He didn't play a whole lot last year. He only played 1 game last season. I'm pretty sure it was the last game of the season. He had no points. But Logan Brown, he's got that offensive potential. Basically, by this protection pick, it's either make or break. He's either going to make the team this year, and he's going to make an impact, or he's not going to make it. And then I truly believe that the Logan Brown saga will be over. An interesting pick. I'm not against it. He does still have the potential, and he's been part of his organization for a long time, and there's been a lot of build-up and pressure on him to break out. So this is definitely the year. Next pick, no surprise. Number 13 previously, now number 21. Nick Paul was protected, and again, perfect. This is kind of how I pictured it. Nick Paul is a very solid two-way center. He doesn't put up a whole ton of points, but he works hard every shift. He's great on the penalty kill. He's great at setting up plays, and he's a leader on this team. So Nick Paul is one of the last pieces from the Jason Spezza deal that we made a long time ago when he got sent to Dallas. So it was really great to see him stick it out, be part of the team, and now he's even protected by the Sens in expansion draft. So glad to see him still here. Brady Tkachuk is the next pick, number 7, and he's probably the next captain of the Sens. If you really think they weren't going to protect Brady Tkachuk, I actually don't blame you, because for some reason Carey Price is being left unprotected. I mean, did you really think Tkachuk wasn't going to get protected? He's arguably our best player. He's the most recognizable face of the franchise right now, I'd say. He can do a little bit of everything. He can fight, he can score, and he's a leader. So great solid. No doubt that Brady Tkachuk was getting protected in the expansion draft. Austin Watson, number 16, another winger, was protected by the Ottawa Senator. Some people might be a little confused by this one, considering he didn't play the whole season. He's still got a few years left under contract. Pierre Dorion brought him in from Nashville, knowing that he still had these extra years on his contract. He's here for the remainder of the rebuild, or the start of the dynasty is what I'm going to call this. He throws his body out there. He sacrifices his body for the sake of the game. He's great at blocking shots, and he goes out and he fights. He's an intimidator, so Tkachuk can fight. You don't necessarily want one of your best top 6 forwards sitting in the box, so you can send Austin Watson to deal with it as well. Now, this last pick does raise some eyebrows. Colin White. Colin White has been an interesting name floating around for Sens fans. He broke out in his rookie season in 2019. He had 36 points. Not bad. And then he was signed to a long-term, decent extension for almost $5 million for 6 years at the time. So he's still like 4 or 3 years left on the deal. And he hasn't quite lived up to the potential or the amount of money in that contract. He was like a healthy scratch for almost first 10 games of the season. He didn't play. So taking a risk on him is a gamble. They obviously still think he's got the potential, and they want him to be a core part of this team. This reminds me quite a bit of the Vegas expansion draft, in which Stefanov refused to waive his no movement clause, so that forced Ottawa to protect him, and they had to pick between Mark Methot and Cody Ceci in order to protect as one of the defensemen. And they picked Cody Ceci because he was younger and they were betting on him, right? Mark Methot was a veteran, and they were, the thing with veterans is a lot of them, when they're veterans, they're as good as they're going to get, or they're in their prime, and they're only going to decline. So picking Colin White over any other Senators player, it does make sense because he's younger, but you're also taking the risk that, this might not pan out. And if I was Seattle and I saw Colin White, I might be willing to take that risk, knowing maybe he needs a first-year scene or something. So that wraps up the forwards. Colin White and Logan Brown were the 2 surprises for me. But the defense was pretty straightforward. Obviously, Thomas Chabot's going to be defended. He's our best defenseman, plays the most minutes, puts up the most points on the blue line, leader on the team. No doubts, no surprise. Another defenseman was Nikita Zaitsev. Now, some people talked of Zaitsev as exposed in the expansion draft. It might be that the Senators were in on one of the big-name right-handed defensemen, such as Dougie Hamilton or Seth Jones. They could still be in on it, but protecting Zaitsev makes a lot of sense for me. A lot of people still crap on Zaitsev quite a bit. It was obvious that the ones who do still did not watch him play this season because he was stellar and he played great with Thomas Chabot. And he was very solid defensively. He's not going to put up the points. He's going to score you a couple clutch slap shot goals, and he's going to score a bunch of empty netters. But he can be relied on to be defensively sound. And then last one, Victor Mete, who we acquired from Montreal just around the trade deadline. He expressed that he felt he was given a fresh chance in Ottawa, a new start on life, so he wants to stay here. The Senators want him to stay here. He's a fast, quick, puck-moving defenseman, and he fit in really well. He had a really great breakout. I thought his breakout toward the end of the season was better than Thomas Chabot's. So he's young, and he's going to be a solid piece of the core moving forward. And then the big goaltender debate. Who were the Sens going to protect? Were they going to protect Murray? Were they going to protect Cord or Gustafsson? Well, we figured it out. They're protecting Philip Gustafsson, who without a doubt earned that starting role. The Senators had a carousel of goalies running this season. You had Murray hurt, Hoagie hurt, Decord comes in, plays great, and then you have Gustafsson. He comes in, and he was absolutely amazing. He got the last start of the season, which he won, and he proved that he's ready to take the reins. He's ready to be that guy. So protecting your young guy over Matt Murray, it makes sense. Murray didn't necessarily have a great season. So with the list being there, I thought the list was pretty much perfect. There's not too much I would have changed on there. A lot of Sens fans seem to be happy with this list. And they got a lot of the important guys that we needed going forward. So now, real quick, before I wrap this video, I'll talk about some of the big names exposed and which one likely gets picked by the Seattle Kraken. So the first one I'll talk about is number 71, center Chris Tierney. Chris Tierney is usually the center I picked whenever I did expansion mode in NHL 18, 19, or whatever. He was always there, he was always reliable. But again, video game has nothing to do with actual hockey analytics. He's really good on the penalty kill. He can score shorthanded. He's usually a third line center, good depth guy, but can play on the second line. And he's a good locker room guy. And he's pretty solid defensively. He doesn't put up the points maybe that you would expect out of a two-way player, but he would be a very good starting pick for the Seattle Kraken. Another big option is Evgeny Dodonov, number 63. That is the one that has a lot of people scratching their heads. Brought in free agency to try and fix the power play, provide some offense, since he had 11 power play goals in 2020 with the Florida Panthers. Unfortunately, this year it just didn't work. He put up 13 goals, I think 1 power play assist the whole season, and it was just a mismatch. But again, COVID season, tougher rules. It might be harder for him to adapt and find his game. And he is a proven 3-time 25-goal scorer. So him being up for grabs, it could just be a fluke year, and Seattle can grab for free the 25-goal scorer. That could be a big steal for Seattle if they were able to take the Donov off the Senators' hands. Now we'll talk about the 2 goalies who are available. Obviously there's 3. There's Forsberg. I don't think they would pick Anton Forsberg. He is a depth goaltender who played stellar for the Ottawa Senators at points in the 2021 season. Matt Murray is a 2-time Stanley Cup champion, but hasn't been anywhere near that form since those 2 Stanley Cups. He was hurt a lot, and when he had hot and cold streaks, a lot more cold streaks with the Sens than hot. So that contract's not looking too good right now. 3 more years, $6.25 million. Who knows? Who knows what happens? But you take a name like Murray, you put him on your team, and you could, if he finds his form, that could be really good. But now there's a lot of other goalies available on the expansion draft. I know Carey Price is apparently available. And then Joey Daccord would be another option too. He's young. He proved he could be ready for the starting reins too. However, since he got hurt, Gustafsson got more time to prove it. So, I mean, Daccord would be a decent acquisition for Seattle too, because they'd have a young goalie prospect they could rely on down the road or right away. It doesn't really matter. There's no expectation for Seattle this season, unless you're expecting them to win the Cup, because Vegas made it to the Cup final in their first year. But so, recap. I think all the picks are solid that Ottawa has protected, from Brady to Chuck all the way down to Austin Watson. I think it's very good for the team. And my personal pick before the video ends, I do think it's going to be Dodonov. I don't see how you pass up on a 25-goal scorer who's just 1 year removed from that total a couple seasons ago. You know, it'd be one thing if it was like 3 or 4 seasons ago he had 25 goals, but no, he had 25 and then he had 13. So there's still the room to grow. The expansion draft is going to happen on Wednesday, and then we will know absolutely 100% who gets picked off the Senators roster, and then we can evaluate what they do to replace that hole, and where do they go from there. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Go Sens, go!